All right, I want to tackle this next subject delicately and with tact, but I do have to tackle it. This is one of those topics where no matter how you phrase it, someone's going to say, David, what an asshole. What an asshole that you're being. But I think this is too important to let it slide. So let me lay this out. Last week, I pointed out in a discussion about Trump having a plurality, but not a majority of the vote. I pointed out that 21% of the country is functionally illiterate. What I mean by that is 1 out of 5 adults, roughly 21%, 1 out of 5 adults does not read beyond a 6th grade level. And in a sense, that works fine if Trump speaks at a 6th grade level and the 20% of the adult public doesn't read beyond a 6th grade level. But the point is, you really can't communicate nuanced ideas to people whose literacy doesn't go beyond grade 6. So we've talked about this in terms of how it influences policy and politics and what people fall for. So then I'm on TikTok and I come across a video of a guy who goes by your bummy math tutor, also known as Math Guy, doing basic multiplication. And as I looked at this video, which I'm going to play, I thought to myself, who on earth is this video for? Because the video is of this guy explaining like you would to a little kid, how do you multiply 0.8 by 0.12? Now, right away, you look at it, 8 times 12 is 96, and there are 3 decimal places, so it's 0.096. This is instant mental math. It's multiplication tables and knowing decimal points. 8 times 12 is 96. Move the decimal point 3 spots, 0.096. It is only one more step beyond 3 times 9. We learned this in 4th grade. But you look at the comments on this video, and I'll play it in a moment, and people are saying, why isn't the answer 0.96, for example? And of course, if you look at it and you say, what's 80% of 0.12? It couldn't possibly be 0.96. 80% of 0.12 can't be more than 0.12. Okay, so TikTok in the United States is for 13 plus. If you're younger, it's a different app with different safety features. You wouldn't see this creator's content. 13-year-olds are in 7th to 9th grade, depending on your state and your birth date. Is this video for adults? So check it out. I'm going to play the video for you, and then I want to talk about it in some more detail.
All right, the average American can't do this question. Yes, you could use a calculator for this, but let me show you how you can do it without a calculator. So first, let's break down the bare numbers. So we have 8 and I see 12. So first, you can do just 8 times 12, and you can do that in your head, or you just do 12 times 8. 2 times 8 gives you 16, carry the 1. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1, which is 96. Now, that means that you have to work with the number 96. So what do you have to do? Now we have to calculate how many decimals we have. So looking at the number 0.8, how many decimal places do we have? So the idea is that to go from this decimal place to the last digit, we just have to move it once. So that's 1 decimal place. And how about 0.12? In 0.12, we have to move 1, 2 to get to the last digit. So that's 2 decimal places. So in total, how many decimal places are we moving? We're moving 1 plus 2, which is going to be 3 decimal places. So in this case, with the number 96, moving to the left 3 decimal places. So we start from here, move 1, 2, and then 3. So we end up right there, which means we have to add the extra 0, meaning your answer is 0.096.
Okay. Now, if you don't know this math instantly when you look at 0.8 times 0.12, this isn't about making fun of you. If anything, it's almost like there are victims out there, victims of the educational system, victims of a growing culture of non-thinking. But what is going on here? And I know some people are going to say, David, you prick, you smug prick with your private school, this or that. I went to no private schools. I guess for grad school, technically I did, but elementary school, middle school, high school, undergrad, public or state schools. It's not about that. The other day, I met a guy. We were talking about a driveway paving job. And he goes, okay, let me see. The number was 112 and he needed to add 20%. He goes 112 and we've got to add 20% of that. And I see the guy struggling. Now, instantly in my head, that's 22.4, right? 100, if you've got 112, 10% of that is 11.2, and then you just double it, it's 22.4. That's how you get 20%. You take 10% of something and you double it. This guy's struggling. He takes out a calculator and I go, oh, it's 22.4. All right. How did we get here? But most importantly, this isn't a math show. What does it mean about our politics? If a significant portion of the population struggles with basic critical thinking, understanding foundational concepts, understanding things that kids learn when they are 9, how on earth can we expect them to evaluate policy proposals? Think about Trump's proposals, tax cuts or tariffs or healthcare. On the surface, they're often sold as good for everybody. Of course, the reality is, if you don't understand nuance, you can't possibly engage critically with it. Trump will tell you tariffs are great for America. We're really sticking it to China. And people go, yeah, we are. But they don't realize tariffs are essentially taxes paid by American consumers. It's basic economics. The cost gets passed down to us. But if you're not equipped to process that, you buy the soundbite and you miss the impact. When you consider limited language capabilities of people who write into the show. Sometimes I'll feature these messages I get from people furious with me. They're clearly American. They clearly only speak English. They can barely string a coherent sentence together in written form. This has real consequences. It's not about laughing at people. So we really are in this wild situation. It's not about multiplying decimals together in your head or calculating percentages. It's about equipping people with the tools to navigate the world and not get duped by the slick talking points and empty promises of a populist-sounding demagogue. And that's how people end up being sold a lot of these ideas. Now, I'm not claiming Trump won because people can't do math. Okay, that's not the point. But what I am saying is that in general, aside from which candidate motivates people to turn out, or how did Trump's turnout compare with 2020 or Harris versus Biden's, and increase, decrease, shrinking of the electorate, demographic, all that stuff is real. But also, when education has been deliberately decimated by Republicans for decades, and you end up with a large share of the population that can't string together a coherent one-paragraph email, I get it all the time, can't do basic math, of course they fall for stuff like, if I put tariffs on everybody, now it's Canada and Mexico too. We'll talk about that later in the show. Of course they fall for it, and then they'll go, wait a second, I can actually figure this out for myself, what happened. So I don't have an answer. In my book, my forthcoming book, of course I talk about in public education, we need to be teaching critical thinking, media literacy, and epistemology. But if you decimate funding for public education, where are they going to get the money to teach those things? So it's not the easy solution that maybe we would hope for. Let me know your thoughts. I'm not trying to be a smug prick, as Dave Rubin called me. I'm trying to talk about a real issue. I want to hear from you. info@davidpakman.com. One of our sponsors today is Zippix Nicotine Toothpicks. Zippix brings you a convenient alternative to smoking and vaping, and the vape clouds, the ashtrays, the thing in your lip that people can see. I've seen that around. This is an easier and less messy way to curb the cravings, and you can use Zippix just about anywhere. Zippix is available in 6 flavors with 2 or 3 milligram strength. The nicotine and the flavor are long-lasting, and Zippix has helped countless people kick the bad habits, and they are bad habits. Zippix toothpicks are FDA registered. Their customer service is second to none. It is one of the most cost-effective alternatives. Also, check out their B12 and caffeine toothpicks. See for yourself why so many people have switched to Zippix toothpicks. You can only get Zippix online. Go to zippixtoothpicks.com today. Save 10% with the code PAKMAN10 at checkout. Just remember, you must be 21 or older to order. The link is down below.